Okay, hi, it's Steve again, developer of MGP Manager. First video for quite some time because I've been doing a lot of work to the game, a lot of changes, a lot of updates, a lot of bug fixes, a lot of quality of life additions, various other things. I just want to run through with them all. This version of the game is one I'm still currently game testing. It's not updated yet, so it's not available, but it'll be available soon. I'm just in the final stages of just testing it, make sure that everything works like it should. So I'm just going to load a game that I've actually playing while I'm testing it. I'll just run through some of the new changes and additions and things that are different, and just show you what it's all about. Okay, so we'll just um, go ahead and load a game. So we'll load this one, I think. Okay, so here we are back at the team home screen. I'll just run through some of the changes we've got here. Now, if you've had the game or bought the game in the past, I suppose, 6 months, you'll already have team cohesion. That'll be in the new one. These will be very familiar. The main change here is the global fan base is now displayed. It's dynamic. It'll change after every race weekend, depending on excuse me, whether your riders perform well or not. So that'll go up and down. See, after the last race, my fan base actually dropped down to just under 3 million people globally, fan of my team or the riders in my team. So anyway, so let's get into it. One of the main changes we've got is with the rider display. So old game used to have performance bars here with everything, brake, acceleration, consistency, all that sort of stuff. Decided that in the real world, you can't just go and look at a rider and go, right, he's got all these stats of 20 and then just go to sign him. Now you've got to actually scout the rider properly before you can make an offer to try and sign him for next season. I'll go through that in a second. We've also got some updated rider traits now. So we've got, obviously you see 4. So one's media, then we've got rideability, we've got financial and physical. So they're the four physicals, that one actually. That one there. So media darling says what it is. So if you sign him, good with sponsors, lightweight. He's a little fella, so he's quick acceleration. You get a boost of acceleration. Again, sponsor magnet. Again, increases merchandise sales depending on how many you've actually got purchased for that weekend. And a qualifying specialist is what it is. He performs really well or above what you would expect him to do in qualifying. So they're the four traits. Obviously, each rider they might be different. Look at my other rider here. Yeah, he's a bit different. His main thing is complacent. Coasts along, he's in the lead, so slacks off a little bit. He's also lightweight. He's loyal. So if we were to try and re-sign this guy when his contract's up, he will probably accept a low contract offer because he's loyal to the team and he's not so volatile if things aren't going particularly well. And he's also, if it's raining, really good in the wet. So there is different rider traits as well. This is laid out slightly different here as well. A bit clearer, not so cluttered as before. So you can see at a glance the state of your ride and what his plans are, condition, and everything else that goes along with that. Anyway, so back to the chart. So now we've got these 5 focuses: physical, pace, technical ability, adaptability, and his focus. These are still affected by the stats that were in the old version, but now you can't see them. They're just displayed slightly differently. If we were to go to a rider in the same class that we're currently in, say this guy, the sort of there, we can't really see what the maximum ability would be without scouting him, but we do get to see one of his traits because he's in the same class. So you would think, being in the same paddock, you would have an idea of what he'd be like. So see this guy, he's quick, but he does make mistakes. So, and you can bear these in mind if you do try to sign. Of these 3 that are question marks, you would have to scout a rider to unlock these 4 traits, and you can't offer a rider a contract until he's been scouted. So it adds a level of you can only scout maybe 6 riders a year, so and therefore can only offer a rider once he's been scouted. So it adds a bit more of a challenge. With instead of just picking the guy with the best stats, you've got to put a bit more work in to try and find a rider that's suitable and available for your team. If we were to go to a different class, say this class here, completely, we don't know anything about him. This chart is, we can't make anything out of that either. So again, you would have to scout this particular person to get a look at his ability. If we go to our watch list, we are scouting a guy at the moment, Liam Agata. We're 25% through scouting him because he's currently in the Moto 3 Championship. In the first 2 rounds, had 2 podiums, had a second and a third place. So I thought he'd be good to move up to Moto 2 because I've got one guy out of contract at the end of the season. So we'll get a look at him. Once the scouting's complete, we can maybe make an offer as long as nobody else signs him before we get to him. So that's the rider screen, how the changes have happened to that. Well, I think it's a lot better. So you can't just, decide to pick the guy with the best stats on that one. So what else has changed? We'll progress through. Oh, here we go, actually, on point. So 50% breakthrough of our Liam Agata scouting. So we can view the rider's stat. We've unlocked a second trait, which shows he's injury prone. So do we want to sign a complacent rider who's prone to being injured if he crashes? He's doing really well so far. You see his chart's got more of a firm border around it, so maybe we're getting to look at what his ability is going to be. It could be a risk, depends what his financial and riding stats turn out to be as we progress through. So that's that. So we'll go through to the race. This has changed slightly as well. I've changed some of the buttons and it look a lot better than before as well. Go for short weekend fatality. We'll play the event to have a look at it. So main change on the race screen. These are different, slightly clearer icons for level of water, level of grip on the racetrack. Also on the leaderboard, it's now just rider's first name, first 3 letters of his surname, because there was a case if someone had the same surname and it just said Marquez, you wouldn't know which Marquez it was. For example, if you're using a custom bike set, so now let's say A Mar, M Mar, like it would do in real life. So that's the main change on the race view screen. If you've not had the game for a while, pit's slightly different. These cards are updated and new, showing grip and water level. Everything else here is much the same as it was before, with a slight tweak on some of the graphics and some of the buttons and things. So that's that one. We'll just put him out on the racetrack for Luke. We've got temperature 22 degrees. So that's that. Okay, so we won't run the full session because it's not a let's play video. Although I am actually going to do some longer let's play videos. So people have asked me to do that so they can get a look at how I play it, even though there's no right and wrong way to play it. It's just to get maybe some hints and tips, maybe find out things that they're not sure about. One thing you can see on the racetrack as another addition is you can see a racing line is slowly becoming more visible. There's something else that I put in that adds a little bit more realism to it. So as the grip level increases, so this racing line becomes more visible on the racetrack. And if it would start to rain and the grips reduces, obviously that racing line is the rubber gets washed away from the track or gets worn off the track. That'll also decrease. It's also a visual on track guide, if you like, as to how much grip the riders have got on the racetrack, as well as having the actual grip meter under the water meter. So that's something else that I've added in. Anyway, so we will end this session early. This again, if you've not had the game for a while, will look different too. I didn't choose any rider focuses, so they didn't expect a lot from him. We didn't reach our team expectations in this session, which I think was top 7. So they're not happy with that. It's skill. The stats do go up though. Between races, obviously stats or the abilities slightly decrease while they're not riding the bike, and then during the race weekend they should go back up again. And then once they hit their current potential, they'll just stop increasing and just level out to be what they are. So that would be free practice at France if we were going to go ahead and do that, but we're not going to do that. So what I'll do, I will go back, reload the game again. I just want to show you the new system I've put in place to sign riders or try and negotiate contract with riders. Okay, so here we are back at our Tomb home screen as before. It's before the French race. So signing riders, obviously, as I said, it's quite a bit different. If it's not your current rider, you have to scout them, 100% scouting to get any to be allowed by the board to make or start negotiations. It's not with before. You would have to basically make a blanket offer. They'd accept it, wouldn't accept it, move on. Now it's different. You can see I've actually got this Santiago Messiah is out of contract end of the season. He's actually quite a good. Well, he's actually not a quite. He's actually been better than that would show. The first race he qualified well, crashed. Spain qualified well. For some reason, didn't have a great race. I actually had a word with him, and I want to settle him as well, which backfired a bit. But I'll show you that in a minute as well. Anyway, so if you want to offer a guy a new contract now, you go to obviously offer contract tab. And this is completely different. What it shows on the right-hand side here, our team interest level, it's how many other teams would be interested in signing him. At the moment, it's low, even though I do feel he can do okay. Nobody else seems to agree at the moment with him. So his rider rating, fairly middle of the road, looking at that one. His financial trait, he's a sponsored magnet, so he is good if I load up on merchandise before each race. Pretty much all sell out purely because the sponsors love him, and his marketing's really good. His stats are shown here a little bit more like the old way, because by this point the riders are the own rider or you've scouted him, you would have an idea what these would be. Again, they all look fairly middle of the road, but I still feel he'll be okay. He's not very loyal though, so I don't know how we're going to re-sign him because he wants $229,000 a season for 2 seasons. Currently, our finances allow us a maximum budget of $130,500. So, obviously, almost half of what he actually wants is our maximum offer. But we can try and boost it with a race win bonus or a championship win bonus. See if we can tempt him by loading them up. We can also now, as opposed to previous versions of the game, we can choose the contract length. So he wants 2 years, but we can offer him a 1-year deal just to see if it's worth keeping it any longer than that. So let's go and offer him, let's say maximum. Let's max it all out. See what he says. 1 year, everything as much as we can do. Submit offer. He's not happy. His base salary is insultingly low for his talent, so he's also a little bit shirty as well, looking at that. So he's not happy. What we can see is his rider patience meter start off at 5. It's dropped 1 to 4. If that gets to 0, he walks away, and those negotiations are over until we try and we can negotiate with him again. But it looks like it's going to be a bit of a waste of time because he basically wants too much money. Let's try him on a 2-year deal, see what he does with that. No, he's not having it. So it's the same. See, that's dropped down to 3. So he's obviously not going to be worth pursuing it any further than that. So I've got to find a replacement for Santiago Messiah. Although later in the season, if he's not got a contract by half point, he might want less money. Whether we hold out that long, I don't know. As we can see, I am actually scouting Liam Agata, who I'm hopeful we can get, because his salary, well, I mean, depending on what he wants, I'm assuming we can afford to buy. So we might just hold out and go for him instead. we can actually talk to our riders. So instead of just I won't pick it. I've already annoyed him once. Let's go for this one. As long as we it's been a week between rider conversations. So before old game, you just had 5 choices to praise, or actually it was 2, to praise or criticize the rider, and that was it. Now it's a bit more dynamic. Now we can type what you want to say to him. Also shows us traits over here, just so we can get a look at what we think he's like. So he's averaging 9th place, which is short of our top 8, and he finished 11th in the previous race, which actually was quite good for him, to be honest. So we can put something on the lines of you performed well last race. I hit enter to see what he says. Nods thoughtfully, processing your feedback for the next Grand Prix round. So he's taken that on board. Whether he agrees or not, we don't know. Has his morale dropped? No, it hasn't. I did annoy him. Actually, I told him that he performed well, and he said, no, we haven't. And now he's not happy. So let's just put something like, you need to try harder next race. There we go. So he says, I know our race pace is erratic compared to Saturdays. I'll try to stay more focused in the pack. So he might actually, because I've criticised him, maybe that's what he needed. No, it didn't. Well, he might have improved a bit, but you can't really tell looking at that. He may still be a bit unsettled, but he might try harder at the next race. So changes the game mainly around the riders, about rider stats, interaction, contracts, traits, performance on track. It's all rider focused stuff rather than just having loads of charts and numbers so it's easy to pick out a rider. You can't anymore. The rider market, just one more thing to show. It's similar to before, but now you can sort. I know it's this little thing, but you can sort by age ascending, age descending, or rider rate. So if you're looking for, say you're in Moto 3 and you're looking for a 17-year-old, here's Rolf. He's 17, he's got a 4-star rating, so he's quite a good rider. Now these stars relate to the class they're in. So it doesn't mean he's a 4-star MotoGP rider. He's a 4-star Moto 3 rider. Depending how he progresses, how he evolves in his career, of the stars will change depending on the class that he's riding in. So if he goes to Moto 2, might drop to a 3-star or a 2-star rider for Moto 2, maybe, depending on how he develops. As far as the transfer market goes now, AI teams look a lot more now on the class that they're in and the class directly below them. Previously, it could find that the champion of Moto 2 doesn't get a ride, ends up unemployed. That unlikely to happen now. So, for example, a Moto GP team or Moto 1 team, is that a contract? Is that a contract? Let's have a look. So we find any teams who haven't got riders for next season. Okay, so they were looking for the riders. So they'll either focus primarily on their existing riders, maybe, or who's performing well in Moto 2, and they'll try and promote them like in real life, go up a class. Moto 2 looks at Moto 3, and then Moto 3 looks at the 3 feeder championships. So they, for example, look for these guys in the feeder championships, so the Asia Cup. It was quite good, actually. That's actually a typo. That's not, the rider wouldn't be 20, it'd be 16. That's actually been fixed since I've done this video. So also the video is getting done, that's actually been fixed, because this save game is a save before I'd fixed the age thing. It doesn't matter. So that's sorted. So that's what happens with that one. Manager screen, pretty much the same as before. Merch is the same, works the same as last time. Your rider staff market, yeah. So basically, it's similar to before, but everything is, as I say, rider focused. It's all about the rider interaction and how you would deal with riders through the game. So that's it. So that's the version I'm working on now, still currently testing. When I'm happy that it's pretty much done, but I just want to do a few more tests on it and stuff, then I'll update it and hope you'll like it. So thank you. I will say I will be doing a gameplay series soon, so look out for that as well. Bit of a run through. I might even use a custom database. I'm not sure. I don't know about copyright on that sort of thing. It's a very dodgy area, so probably won't do. But anyway, I'm going to do one, so look out for that. So I'll see you next time. Cheerio.